The weight of secrets. Marcus emerged from the subway at 149th Street and 3rd Avenue, his father's watch heavy in one pocket, the safety deposit box key burning in the other. The afternoon sun felt too bright, too ordinary for what he'd just learned. His father hadn't died in a factory accident. His father had been murdered. The Bronx Youth Alliance occupied a converted warehouse on Brook Avenue, its brick facade covered in a mural of bright geometric patterns and raised fists. Through the windows, Marcus could see teenagers moving around inside, their voices carrying out to the street. He stood on the sidewalk, trying to push Vincent Zhao's revelations into some locked compartment of his mind. The kids inside needed a teacher, not someone drowning in 20-year-old secrets. "You planning to stand out here all day, or you coming in?" Jimmy Reese stood in the doorway, his solid frame backlit by the interior lights. He wore the same work shirt and suspenders from yesterday, his expression knowing. Marcus crossed the street. "Sorry, just gathering my thoughts." "Uh-huh." Jimmy studied him with those sharp eyes. "You meet your father's friend?" The question landed like a punch. Marcus nodded, not trusting his voice. And it's complicated." Marcus met Jimmy's gaze. "Really complicated." Jimmy was quiet for a moment, then stepped aside. "Come on. The kids are waiting. Whatever you're carrying, leave it at the door for now. They deserve your full attention." Inside, the warehouse had been transformed into something alive. The main floor held mismatched furniture, a ping-pong table, bookshelves stuffed with paperbacks. Basketball hoops hung at either end. A small stage occupied one corner, and along the back wall, someone had set up an art space. Easels, a long table covered in paint supplies, drawings pinned to corkboard. 5 teenagers lounged around the art area. They looked up as Marcus approached, their expressions ranging from curious to hostile. "This is Marcus Chen," Jimmy announced. "He's an artist from California, going to be teaching you all some things on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons." "We already got art class at school," said a girl with an impressive afro and paint-stained overalls. She looked about 16, her dark brown skin catching the light from the windows. "Why we need another teacher? Because school art class is bullshit," said a skinny Puerto Rican kid with a wispy mustache. "They make you draw bowls of fruit and shit." "Language, Raphael," Jimmy said without heat. "It's true, though." This from a tall black teenager with glasses and a serious expression. "They teach us technique but never ask what we want to say." Marcus felt something shift in his chest. "What's your name?" "David. David Washington." "Any relation to Diane Washington? Lives on Prospect Avenue?" David's face lit up. "That's my sister. You know Diane? We're neighbors. She told me about her gallery opening Friday." Marcus pulled over a stool and sat down. "So you think school art class teaches technique, but not voice?" "Exactly." David leaned forward. "Like I can draw a perfect sphere with shading and highlights, but when I try to draw what I actually see in this neighborhood, the teacher says it's too political or not appropriate." "What do you see?" Marcus asked. The girl with the afro snorted. "What do you think he sees?" "Same thing we all see. Cops beating people, landlords letting buildings fall apart, rich people driving through on their way somewhere else, not even looking at us." "So draw it," Marcus said. The room went quiet. The 5 teenagers stared at him. "What?" Raphael said finally. "Draw it. Paint it. Whatever you see that matters, that makes you angry or sad or hopeful. Put it down." Marcus stood and walked to the supply table. Someone had donated decent materials. He picked up a piece of charcoal. "My father used to say that art without truth is just decoration. If you've got something to say, say it." "Even if it's political?" David asked carefully. "Especially if it's political." Marcus thought of his father, witnessing something terrible and gathering evidence because someone had to. The world doesn't change because people make pretty pictures of fruit bowls. It changes when artists show the truth. The girl with the afro smiled slowly. "All right, I'm Keisha, and maybe this won't be complete bullshit after all." The other 2 teenagers introduced themselves. Maria, a quiet Puerto Rican girl with watchful eyes, and Tommy, a stocky Italian kid with paint perpetually under his fingernails. For the next 2 hours, Marcus watched them work, offered suggestions, asked questions about their choices. David was drawing a series of panels showing the view from his apartment window at different times of day. Morning light on broken glass, Afternoon shadows from the elevated train, evening gatherings on stoops. Keisha painted bold abstracts that somehow captured the feeling of the neighborhood's energy. Raphael sketched faces with obsessive detail, each one telling a story. Marcus found himself relaxing into the work, the familiar rhythm of teaching, of helping young artists find their voices. This was why he'd come to New York, not just to make his own art, but to be part of something larger. But his father's watch kept ticking in his pocket. The key kept pressing against his thigh, and when he caught Jimmy watching him from across the room, he saw the question in the older man's eyes. At 5 o'clock, the teenagers started packing up. David approached Marcus hesitantly. "My sister's opening on Friday," he said. "You should come. She'd want to know how I'm doing here." "I'll be there," Marcus promised. After the kids left, Jimmy gestured for Marcus to follow him to a small office off the main floor. The room held a battered desk, filing cabinets, and photographs covering every inch of wall space. Kids from over the years, some smiling, some serious, all of them real. Jimmy sat down and pointed to the other chair. "Now, you want to tell me what happened?" Marcus found himself explaining. Not everything, not about the heroin or the evidence or the danger, but enough. His father's death wasn't an accident. Vincent Zhao had known him. There were secrets, things Marcus was only beginning to understand. Jimmy listened without interrupting. When Marcus finished, the older man was quiet for a long moment. "Your father," Jimmy said finally. "What was his name?" "Thomas Chen." Jimmy's expression shifted, something like recognition flickering across his face. "Thomas Chen? Worked down in Chinatown? You knew him?" Marcus leaned forward. "Knew of him." Jimmy rubbed his jaw. "This was, 20 years ago? I was running with a different crowd back then, before I got myself straight. There were rumors about a Chinese guy who'd seen something he shouldn't have, something involving the docks and some very connected people." He met Marcus's eyes. "The rumor was he disappeared. They said he went back to China, or maybe California. I didn't know he'd been killed." Marcus felt cold despite the warm room. "What else did the rumors say?" "That whoever killed him made it look like an accident. That his family was told it was a factory accident so they wouldn't ask questions." Jimmy's voice was gentle. "And that anyone who knew the truth kept their mouths shut, because talking was a good way to end up dead too." "Vincent Zhao is talking now. Then Vincent Zhao is either very brave or very desperate." Jimmy stood and walked to the window. "Marcus, I'm going to tell you something, and you need to listen. This city has a long memory. The people who killed your father or ordered it done, they might still be around. They might still be connected. And if they find out you're asking questions..." "I'm not asking questions. You're just what? Going to pretend you don't know? Going to walk around with whatever Vincent gave you and hope nobody notices?" Jimmy turned back. "I've seen this before, son. I've seen good people get swallowed up by old violence. You need to be careful." Marcus pulled out the key, held it up. "He gave me this, said my father left evidence in a safety deposit box. Evidence that could destroy powerful people." "Jesus." Jimmy sat down heavily. "Put that away. Don't show it to anyone else." "What am I supposed to do with it?" "I don't know, but I know you need to think very carefully about your next move." Jimmy's expression was troubled. "You start that print shop job tomorrow?" "Yeah, 9 a.m. "Good, go to work. Teach here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Live your life. And while you're doing that, figure out if you really want to open whatever box that key unlocks. Because once you do, there's no going back." Marcus walked home as the sun set, Jimmy's words echoing in his head. The Bronx evening was alive around him. Music from open windows, the smell of cooking, kids playing stickball in the street. Normal life continuing while he carried his father's secrets. His apartment felt too quiet when he let himself in. Marcus set the key on his small table and stared at it. Such a small thing, such enormous weight. A knock on the door made him jump. He shoved the key in his pocket before opening it. Diane Washington stood in the hallway, wearing a paint-splattered smock over jeans, her hair tied back with a bright red scarf. Her brown eyes were bright with excitement. "I met David at the subway," she said. "He told me you're teaching at the Youth Alliance. That's wonderful." "Your brother's talented," Marcus said, trying to match her energy. "Really talented. He gets it from me." She grinned. "Listen, I'm having some people over tomorrow night. Other artists, couple of musicians, nothing fancy, just drinks and conversation. You should come. 7-ish? Marcus thought about refusing, about staying in his apartment with his secrets and his fear. But Jimmy's advice echoed, live your life. I'd like that, he said. After Diane left, Marcus pulled out his sketchbook. He tried to draw what he'd seen today. The teenagers' faces, Jimmy's knowing expression, Vincent Zhao's warning eyes. But his hand kept returning to his father's face, trying to capture it from memory. The kind eyes, the quiet strength. The man who'd witnessed evil and tried to do something about it. The man who'd been murdered for it. Marcus looked at the key again. Somewhere in Chinatown, in a bank vault, his father's evidence waited. Names, dates, proof of crimes. The truth about what had happened 20 years ago. And somewhere in this city, the people who'd killed his father might be watching, waiting to see what he would do. His father's watch showed 3:47, frozen in time. But Marcus's own time was moving forward, carrying him toward a choice he wasn't ready to make. He thought of David's drawing, the view from his window at different times of day. The same place, but transformed by light and shadow. Maybe truth was like that. The same events, but seen from different angles, different moments. Marcus closed his sketchbook and looked out his own window at the Bronx night. Tomorrow, he'd start his print shop job. Tomorrow night, he'd go to Diane's gathering. Friday, he'd go to her gallery opening. Monday, he'd teach again. And somewhere in between, he'd have to decide whether to unlock his father's secrets or let them stay buried. The knock on his door came just after midnight, so soft he almost missed it. Marcus opened it to find Mrs. Rodriguez in her nightgown and robe, her wrinkled face tight with concern. "Mijo," she whispered, "there's a man downstairs, Chinese man, standing across the street, just watching our building. He's been there for an hour." Marcus's blood went cold. He moved to the window and looked down carefully. A figure stood in the shadows across the street, barely visible in the streetlight. Watching, waiting. Vincent had warned him, they're still out there, still dangerous. Marcus touched the key in his pocket and wondered if he'd already made his choice without realizing it. If simply knowing the truth was enough to make him a target. The figure across the street didn't move, and Marcus understood with sudden, terrible clarity that his father's past had just become his present.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.